Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today, I would like to focus on the news about how Taqiyuddin of Parti Islam Malaysia mentioned that the fine of 100,000 ringgit to Sinar Harian and Sinchu Daily with regard to the Jalur Gemilang mistakes or inappropriate show in a sense that this is something that is considered wrong and also very serious, and so the MC had slapped them with this fine of 100,000 ringgit. Now, Taqiyuddin went on to say that this is not a fair punishment for these two newspapers, especially newspapers like Sinchu Daily, who has been contributing the news in a most professional and with integrity for many years, and so it should be enough that the news media, being a veteran news media, be given the chance to actually correct the mistake, apologize, and also take disciplinary action internally. There shouldn't be any punishment of 100,000 ringgit that would be tantamount to what he considers, Taqiyuddin considers, as media bullying. So this is a very pleasant surprise to me, fresh out of the Muktamar, where the leadership, like Hadi Awang was saying, that it is time for PAS to lead the nation. It is time for PAS to be the Prime Minister instead of Bersatu. Maybe many of the delegates are in agreement with the idea that PAS should be the #1 party in Malaysia to actually mold Malaysia within its so-called idea of Islamic framework. And then we hear some news about the idea of not calling people kafir by some of the PAS members. All of this seems to be either a very great awakening or still a sandiwara politic to actually attract the non-Malays, because now their stumbling block is the non-Malays for them to reach Putrajaya. Now, with regard to the Jalur Gemilang gaffe, or this so-called misrepresentation, if you recall, when the Jalur Gemilang situation occurred with Sinchu, the two editors were arrested, and I came up with a statement in Malaysia Kini saying that I was embarrassed to be a Malaysian because such a thing should not be done. Shouldn't be arresting them. We should just accept their mistake, and we should just accept the apology, and some disciplinary action within the newspaper should be enough. That's what I said. And what I said actually has been echoed by Taqiyuddin now after so many months. I wonder why Taqiyuddin did not mention it then. But nevertheless, he has already mentioned it. So let's look at it. Whether is it a sincere feeling, or is this mere political doublespeak, political strategy to show the tolerance of Parti Islam Malaysia? But to be fair, let's look at some of the comments that I had gotten. One from the veteran UMNO, who said that if Professor Tajuddin feels embarrassed, then he should lose his citizenship. Just like that. You know, didn't understand that the feeling that I had was not about embarrassed being a Malaysian as a whole, but embarrassed that we allow such thing to happen, which shows that that I have empathy with the people of Malaysia, especially with the non-Malays, with regard to this issue, and I do not think that they deserve such kind of treatment. But of course, simply expressing that you are part of Malaysia makes the result of Parti UMNO with their veteran people who are old people saying that, well, then leave Malaysia, just like that. Then we also have people like Mazli Malik, Dr. Mazli Malik, who is a PKR member, also having very, very harsh words with regards to the Sinchu situation with the Jalur Gemilang. At another occasion of Jalur Gemilang, Mazli Malik, who is also a very important PKR member, have said those who seems to be lackadaisical or not treating the flag in seriousness can be viewed as traitorous. So the word traitor has also been bandied about with regard to such what I consider mistake. It's just a simple mistake. It's nothing intentional. Why do I say it's not intentional? In a lot of these cases, I've already explained. How can we say something is intentional when the party who made this mistake have never done this before? This is the first time. So how can a first time be construed as an intentional insult to Malaysia? And furthermore, the mistake is always corrected immediately. And if it was not so, it was intentional, then definitely it would not be taken down. It would be expressed. Also, there is an immediate apology by the perpetrators, and then this is something that I say to be a mistake. If somebody was doing something purposeful, like some politician insulting non-Malays, Chinese, calling Nyonya Tua, have they made such kind of statements insulting other races? Well, yes, many times. Have this person apologized? Never. Even added on more insult to the injury of emotion that is felt. So this is clear intent, but most of the flag issue are clear mistakes. And so this is something that in one sense quite pleasing. If Taqiyuddin of PAS, being a very important member, is saying something, then is he actually practicing the Islam of the Prophet Muhammad and also being a good Malaysian? Now, we must also recall the incident of the Ketua Pemuda PAS during the Sinchu incident, who claimed to say that this is something that an apology cannot be just accepted like that, and that he also used the word traitorous. So here we have two situations of one high-ranking PAS member saying something of compassion, saying something of tolerance, saying that it's okay, it's just a mistake and let them just take care of it. But on the other hand, like Mazli Malik, the Ketua Pemuda PAS, have mentioned the word traitorous with regard to a Jalur Gemilang issue. So here we see these two kinds of view. Which one is the Parti Islam Malaysia? Or is Parti Islam Malaysia, after so many months now, saying something else? I don't want to use the word hypocrite in this regard, because as we can see, many of the incidences were insults of calling other people kafir, and also slander, and also insult, and also accusing without saying that waving the flag of the Chinese nation is tantamount to something that is not having a Malaysian spirit. All of this have never been apologized by the top leadership, like especially Taqiyuddin. So I am forced to believe that this is just a sandiwara to attract the non-Malays in order to put PAS in the government, because this is now the only stumbling block to them. To them, they think they have a solid Malay support, which I don't believe so. I think in the win of 2022, it was a lot of things happening, most of it because of the sabotage by UMNO people themselves to their own party, the likes of Anwar Musa, the likes of Khairi Jamaluddin, the likes of Hishamuddin Tun Hussein, all these people were considered traitorous to UMNO. And then we saw that the Malays did not know who to vote and therefore opted for the other Malay group, either PAS or Bersatu, and that's why the win was so significant. The other reason is many of the non-Malays did not come out to vote, and also the Undi 18 were very attracted to all this motorcycles campaign by Parti Islam Malaysia, very clever gimmick with all the money that they had. So they were the ones who actually voted for the opposition. So this is something which is no longer true at the moment, and I don't think PAS has the strength to take Putrajaya, and that is why they are appealing to the non-Malays with the acceptance of many other parties like Yurimai, like some Indian party, some other Chinese-based party like Gerakan, although Gerakan is multicultural, but it's like the AP, mostly Chinese-based, giving the impression that they are multicultural. Well, some may choose to believe, but I, who was a member of PAS for 30 years, do not think that this is the true face of PAS. The true face of PAS you can see for yourself, whether they have apologized and for all the things that they have said. Sometimes they consider Malaysians as animals. Some members also insinuate the idea of leaders as sheep, monkeys. All these insults are something that is shows that they do not respect Malaysia. There, people like Zaid Ibrahim, my friend, saying that, well, the past members, they don't have a history of corruption. Of course, they never run a country with a lot of money. The state they have doesn't have that much money and are the poorest and mismanaged, not only by Barisan Nasional, but now perhaps by themselves. So we have not heard any of them coming up with some great economic policy or great education policy or a comparable or accepted policy with regard to the arts, policy with regard to heritage. All over with these kinds of issues, they always use the haram halal issue, which is a very, very small framework that has never been expanded to the realities of modern life. So with PAS, their leaders are not in tune with the idea that we need each other as a country, we need to respect one another, we need to hold each other in dignity, we need to actually saling bantu membantu, and to depend on one another. But I don't think PAS is that kind of party. So with that, I'd like to end by saying I think that Taqiyuddin's statement is pure sandiwara, although I welcome it because that is what it should be. Mistakes should be forgiven, and it should be enough for us to move on from there and not use such words as traitorous and the idea that Malaysians are not loyal to the countries simply because of a single once in a lifetime mistake. So with that, thank you very much. Hello everyone, my name is Professor Dr. Muhammad Tajuddin, and I have written a book called Not the Islam I Know. This book is a compilation of many of my writings over the past 15 years with regard to what is called Islamic issues in the country. And the main intention of the book is actually to show that many of the practices, perspectives, values, and actions of most Muslims may not be the same, or is usually not the same as the teachings represented by the tradition of the Prophet Muhammad through the Hadith and the Quran from my own perspective of understanding it. Now, I hope you would be able to understand Islam a bit better so that you would differentiate between the practices of Muslims in their political and social context with regards to the differences to the actual teachings of the Prophet Muhammad itself.